Welcome to our deep dive into one of the most dramatic stories from the Bible, the 10 Plagues of Egypt. The book of Exodus tells us of a time when the Israelites, God's chosen people, were enslaved by the Pharaoh. Their cries for freedom reached the heavens, and God chose Moses to lead them out of bondage. But Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he refused to let the Israelites go. The Nile, the lifeblood of Egypt, was suddenly transformed. Imagine the horror of the Egyptians as the crystal-clear waters turned a gruesome blood red. The fish began to die, their lifeless bodies floating on the surface, filling the air with a stench. Even Pharaoh's magicians were able to replicate this plague, adding to the growing sense of unease. But Pharaoh, his heart hardened, remained unmoved. Imagine waking up one morning and finding your world overrun by a teeming, slimy horde of frogs. They hopped into every crevice, their croaking a deafening chorus. The frogs were everywhere, in their beds, their food, even in their ovens and kneading bowls. This plague directly impacted the Egyptians in their homes, a constant reminder of the God of the Israelites. Once again, Pharaoh's magicians were able to replicate this plague. The air now buzzed with the incessant drone of countless gnats. These tiny insects swarmed the land, covering every surface, every inch of exposed skin. Even Pharaoh's magicians were confounded by this plague. This is the finger of God, they declared, acknowledging a power beyond their control. But would this plague be enough to soften Pharaoh's heart? Swarms of flies descended upon Egypt, but the land of Goshen, where the Israelites resided, remained untouched. The flies swarmed through homes, temples, even the Pharaoh's palace, a buzzing reminder of the power of the God of the Israelites. The stench of decay, the incessant buzzing, all served to further erode the resolve of the Egyptians. Pharaoh, though shaken by this selective plague, remained defiant. A pestilence swept through the land, striking at the heart of Egypt's economy and livelihood. Their livestock, cattle, sheep, horses, donkeys, all perished, their bodies littering the fields. But once again, the land of Goshen, where the Israelites dwelt, was spared. Yet Pharaoh's heart, hardened by pride and stubbornness, refused to yield. Imagine the unbearable agony of fiery boils erupting on your skin. This was the sixth plague that God visited upon the Egyptians, sparing no one. The boils, festering and painful, covered their bodies, a physical manifestation of the inner turmoil that gripped the nation. But Pharaoh, his heart hardened, his will unbroken, refused to relent. The heavens unleashed their fury upon Egypt as a tempest of unimaginable ferocity swept across the land. The sky darkened and the air grew thick with tension as the storm approached. Hailstones, some the size of a man's fist, rained down from the sky. The ground was soon littered with these icy missiles, causing destruction wherever they landed. Lightning set fire to fields and homes, adding to the chaos and terror. Flames danced in the wind, consuming everything in their path. Crops were flattened, trees uprooted, livestock scattered and slain. The once fertile land was now a scene of utter devastation. Even Pharaoh, sheltered in his palace, could not escape the fury of the storm. The walls of his grand abode shook with the storm's might. He witnessed the devastation, felt the earth shake beneath his feet, and for a moment, perhaps, a flicker of fear entered his heart. The power of nature was undeniable, and its wrath inescapable. The eighth plague arrived on the wings of a vast swarm of locusts, so dense they blotted out the sun. They descended upon Egypt, consuming everything in their path, leaving behind a desolate landscape. The Egyptians, already reeling from the previous plagues, watched in despair as the remaining crops vanished. Even Pharaoh had to acknowledge the devastating power of this plague. A darkness thick and heavy descended upon the land of Egypt. For 3 days and 3 nights the Egyptians stumbled about, blind and afraid. The darkness permeated everything, seeping into their homes, their hearts, their very souls. Even Pharaoh, accustomed to the brilliance of his court, found himself shrouded in this impenetrable darkness. And the 10th and final plague, the most devastating of all, struck at the very heart of Egypt, causing widespread fear and sorrow. It was the death of the firstborn, a calamity that no family could escape. A hush fell over the land as the angel of death passed through, moving silently and swiftly, leaving behind an unimaginable silence that echoed through the empty streets. In every Egyptian home, the firstborn son lay dead, a sight that brought endless grief and despair, a chilling testament to the power of the God of Israel, whose might was now undeniable. Pharaoh, his heart finally broken by the overwhelming loss, relented, and the Israelites were finally free to go, beginning their long-awaited journey to freedom. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the 10 plagues of Egypt. It's been an incredible exploration of one of the most dramatic and pivotal stories in the Bible. We've delved into the intense struggle between Pharaoh and Moses, witnessed the escalating power of the plagues, and celebrated the ultimate triumph of faith over tyranny. Each plague brought a new lesson and a deeper understanding of resilience. The story of the plagues is more than just a historical account. It's a timeless reminder of the power of faith, the consequences of oppression, and the enduring hope for liberation. It teaches us about the strength of the human spirit and the importance of standing up against injustice. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of biblical stories. Your support helps us bring these ancient tales to life and share their valuable lessons with the world.